So the setup screens on the 6000 series, we press and hold both buttons. We can set 12-hour or 24-hour clock. We can set the time, hours and minutes. We can set the RPM that we want the shift light to come on at. There's a second shift light, which is here, which comes on at 500 RPM lower than you set it at. We set the number of revolutions for the number of pulses. We've got options of 1 revolution, 1 pulse, 2 revolutions, 1 pulse, and so on. Whether the speedo is running from an ACEWELL 2-wire Hall sensor or whether it's running from a reed switch. Next we set the circumference of the tyre on the wheel that the speed sensor is measuring. Set each digit. P is the number of pulses from the speed sensor per turn of the wheel. Whether we want to display miles per hour or kilometers per hour. Whether we want to display the decimal point after the speed or no decimal point after the speed. The next is the maintenance reminder, whether we want to display it as based on distance travelled or hours of the engine, or whether we don't know maintenance reminder at all. So if we've got it in distance, then we set the number of miles or kilometres until we want the next maintenance reminder. This controls the battery warning light, sets the voltage that you want the battery light to come on at. So B on is the falling voltage when the light is to come on. B off is the rising voltage when you want the light to go off, and B high is the rising voltage, so if it exceeds that it tells you that you're overcharging. Whether you want to display temperature 1 in centigrade, Fahrenheit, or off, or just as a high warning, and if it's in centigrade, what temperature you want the warning light to come on at. Similarly with centigrade, for temperature 2, whether it's centigrade or Fahrenheit. Scan, the bottom line of the LCD can display all the different modes and functions as we've displayed in the previous screens, and this allows you to choose whether you wanted to cycle every 5 seconds between each function or whether to stay on the function that you set it to. Whether you want the fuel gauge to be on, off, reserve mode. If it's on, you set the resistance from the sender for a full tank, resistance from the sender for an empty tank. Got a lap timer function, we'll go through that in a different video. And then the odometer. In the odometer you can enter the reading from your previous speedometer. It's very important to make sure that you prefix the correct number of zeros. So if you're entering 1000, you need to make sure you enter 2 zeros at the beginning, because once you've entered a number and left this screen, that's it, it's locked permanently. At the end of that, it takes you back to the beginning, press and hold the button, and it saves the settings.